Good evening, I'm happy to see you. In fact, these workshops which I'm doing is already going on for 5 years, and about 70–80% was of some Western examples, because it was hard for us to test those algorithms were not accessible. But now we won't produce any strange or examples of other countries. Maybe they are not that bright as the Western are, but still they are ours, so we can discuss them closer. If you had the questions during the lecture, after it, pose them, because those are the cases which we are implemented. And yes, running ahead, the part of jobs can be taken by AI. Still, it won't solve all the issues. I will tell you what has become easier, which new skills have become needed. We'll see in the way. So let us start. My name is Eugene Sannikov. This is my career. For 10 years I've been working on TV, for 12 years in the cinema group FILM.UA. I was dealing with scientific films as a producer, creative producer, so I was at the filming set. All of the pains of producer were tested by myself personally, so I know this process well, and it helps me to select the topic of the research. And for 4 years I'm the head of R&D department in FILM.UA, going on with the same obligations, the head of the design studio of scientific cinema. So I was studying at the Polytechnic Institute at the Systems of Experimental Research, which does not exist anymore. Then I was working and studying in the NAOMA as for Theory and History of Arts, and then in November I will graduate from Documentary Campus Master School, and I'm writing my PhD on topic of AI plus art. So in fact this is the technology stack which we're using in the production, which is used by us, and here we have highlighted what we will discuss or touch at least. We won't have time to speak about AR, VR, animation. As for the voice and sound is very important and important topic, but we'll omit it. Maybe we'll meet a bit more of blockchain, but what's highlighted will be enough. Let me show you the short show reel of our innovations, and we will discuss almost all of the showcases. But this is what I'm going to show you today. So in this show reel we can see the most interesting topics when we have wonders in the intersection of technologies. When VR is meeting neural networks, or when it is generated, there's not a lot of mathematics and calculations, but it will be adapted for the creative people, and I will try to use that with simple terms. This is the system of neural network, how it works, but we'll skip it. This is just for your perception and understanding. But how is it working using the usual words? For instance, to create the pixel Mona Lisa, to generate it, The neural network has two elements, an artist and the critic. The artist is the generator who generates the image. Critic is the discriminator who is discriminating this image. It tells what is done wrong, what shouldn't be done, where the colors are wrong, where the strokes are not done in the proper way. The critic is instantly impacting the artist, prompting what to do. For the neural network to start, it may start from scratch, from vacuum, or maybe you have been working with the neural works like Journey or Stable Diffusion. It's working with prompts. The prompts which are in fact prompting what the artist should do. And we are the human who is telling what for the artist what to do. It begins with the canvas, which is the hardest for the human being in real life. For the neural network to do that from tabula rasa, we have this diffusion noise. There is nothing there first, so to start with something, it begins the generation process. It has layers. The neural network has 3 layers at this picture, but they could be more, 10, 20 of them. They are hidden layers, and they can be compared with different brushes or paints which are done in images. Those are the ratios of this neural network. So if we go along the process, we are providing the prompt, Mona Lisa pixel art. The artist starts with the pure and clean canvas, and the critic is criticizing all the time, explaining what's wrong in the process, then drawing layer by layer gradually. If you've seen how Midjourney or Stable Diffusion are generating that, they are generating more and more precise images. Then we get the desired effect. So how does this critic know what should be right? Because it was taught by other people, or was it teaching itself using the data set? Data set is the pile of images in the folder and described ones. How are they described, in fact, or inscripted? This could be done by people, first of all, to put all the cats in one folder and to write cats, and separately they could consider each of them. Or it can be done automatically, just to look through online and to see the text inscriptions. Some of the companies do that, like ImageNet, Lay-On, so they're just searching through internet with different languages, with cats or dogs or carrots or cherries, whatever, and any of the artworks, and each of the pictures has the text inscription. So in this vector space it is in fact stored. Why do we need to understand this vector space? Just for your interest to understand it. This is a kind of a cloud where all of those pictures and inscriptions are put. Of course, it's a mathematical cloud. It's not even a 3D, it's a multi-dimensional space where we need to generate the image and to find the necessary image, a couple or several of them. So a bit of mathematics left, then we'll watch videos and pictures. So if the prompt is the dog is walking in the park, in the 3D space each of the word has coordinates, where you can find a dog in this space, where it is walking, and what means in the park. And this is how we generate the image at the intersection of these coordinates. Here we have the image in the middle. It will be different every time, if you notice, just because we are beginning with random noise. If we'd like a bit more detailed, like the dog's eye, then we take the dog and the eye, and the average arithmetical indicator are the coordinates in this imaginary matrix of images. The coordinates of the dog's eye somewhere in the space of our fantasy of this neural network. In fact, that's it. Let's breathe out, then we'll have entertainment and just pictures how all of that is used. The simplest topic today, the practical one, is image generation. Who of you has used generation at Midjourney or Stable Diffusion? Lots of you, cool. So, I will tell how it was used by us. In fact, maybe for the last half of the year, well, a year and a half, each work of our designers or video designers is using partially some of the parts generated by neural networks. We are using lots of cinema projects, and our colleagues and producers are pitching rather often the presentations where they lack images of the characters. For instance, we need to pitch an idea, for instance, a detective story, and we are how it used to be. We created a dream cast. We just took Leonardo DiCaprio from Google, but now it can be done more precisely. We forming or shaping the brief of the character, and we can generate rather precise, like a confident man of 30 years old. He's a detective, he's in the coat, the luxurious one, a gentleman, the head of mafia, and so on. We can put any clothes on them. We can make lots of artistic styles, whatever we'd like. So I will share some of the prompts. If you're interested, you can take the pictures. Those are prompts for Midjourney. In fact, if you never used it before, it's very simple. You just get to the website, you register there. The start package costs $10, the wider one $30. $10 is enough. And the prompt is the text request, which helps you to generate the image. The prompt includes such details, what we'd like to get in the context, and which context, who that is, in which environment he's standing, which are the colors, which artistic style, the proportions of the image. So in fact, I wouldn't like even to create long prompts and complicated ones. If you have enough of skills, they can be fun and short. For instance, those are the characters which I generated for the historical films which are pitched by our producers. This is the cool thing. We were working on the documentary about Louis Braille, and it was an opportunity to restore his historical portrait. He is an inventor of the Braille font because he lived in Paris in the 19th century. They didn't have photos, there were not that many portraits, so gradually through the neural network, first we gave at the input the options of his appearance, and then we brought it to perfect, adding the request to see him older, how he would look like when he's old. Of course, it's the speculation. Definitely he did not look like that. But what's important about that, a producer's thing, that we are getting rights for these images, because it's very hard to work in the documentary with the rights for some rare images. They need to be purchased, or maybe they are impossible to purchase. So when we buy a commercial package of Midjourney or Stable Diffusion, which is for free, we are legally getting the rights for all of the final generations, and we can use them even in the commercial projects. So this is also the example how the neural network helped visualize the lady who was kidnapped and spent and she gave birth to 2 children. Of course her face was blurred, but for the Western magazine we restored it. Of course it's not her face, but it's a case where neural network can ethically be used for such an artistic effect. So this is the case for, in fact, the exhibition center at one of the locations for this summer. The neural network has in it all of the famous styles of artists, photographers, designers who they were able to find and digest. So there are lots of catalogs. If you'd like to experiment, just search for Midjourney artist styles and you'll have big Excel tables, catalogs and websites, and you will be able to find the name of some artist or designer, and you can refer in your text prompt to him and you will get the results which are similar to his work. For instance, the artist Jimmy Marble, those are his original pictures, and then using his style. By the way, those are the prompts which were used for the generation of this campaign. They were generated like the arts for the location, which were filling the different alleys of the exhibition center. Those are the examples. And this is the campaign of this year. The transition from 2023 to 2024, Share the Light is its name. We are working on the design of it using neural networks. There will be lots of handmade retouch, of course, but the basic elements are easier to get for free. And it's also a pain to work with the children from the legal perspective, from the technical perspective, so AI helps us a lot in that. Let's move to deepfake. This is also the technology which we're doing for about 4 years at our studio. We were definitely one of the first in Ukraine who began to do that, and at the industrial level we created lots of projects. Some of them cannot even be mentioned now, but as for those which I can tell you about, I will tell you now. That's in a nutshell how the neural network is working. They also have the generator and discriminator. We have the fake character. This is the fake character. This is the original face. And the neural network first, with its encoder, it codes into noise. And then it tries to recreate the original from the noise. How does it do? It instantly compares it with the original and selects the key, well, metaphorically the key, which is the complex of the parameters which helps to decode from this to this. And again, let me repeat. To achieve this, to set up this key, we instantly coming back a step back, and we compare. And when we have the perfection, when the comparison doesn't find delta, the error, then the key is set up. So the same is done for the fake. From the normal image, it is transformed into noise, then we select the key, and this is how we check it and find the complex of parameters like this. And then how the fake can be transformed into a pseudo Stallone. We have two keys, a real and the fake one. And what is done in fact? You see, it is totally vague to the left, but we create a cunning thing here. We replace the keys. The true key is used for the fake one, and so this is the kind of replacement. So we got this kind of Sylvester Stallone, which of high quality. That's in a nutshell. It's a bit more complicated, in fact. But the most important thing, what we can understand, that we are training two keys, the true one and the fake one, and then we swap their places. This is our project, the TV series Inseparable, which was shot in 2014. It's about the Chernobyl disaster. And a Russian actor, Nazarenko, was playing in that, and he gave an interview to Komsomolska Pravda newspaper. He says that Ukraine will crawl on its knees to Russia, so the film got to the blacklist of the Ministry of Culture. It was blocked. So when we made some tests with deepfake, for about half a year, we created R&D on all of the technologies. It was long ago. So we decided to deblock this cinema, replacing this Russian actor into ours. And this is the final outcome, how it used to be and how it became. By the way, since then, it was impossible to take the very close or the close-up of the actor. It used to be impossible, but now it's even done with higher quality. This is the actor who was selected to replace the previous one. We need to find the actor who more or less, according to his anthropomorphy, is similar. Because here, at this point, in this episode, you can see what was the gap. Well, we tested with our designer. His face is totally different from the actor. His face is totally different. And it happens when we have the difference in the anthropology of the faces. Then, this is the test with Kuzma Scriabin, which was put on, maybe you worked with MetaHuman. That is the service of gaming engine, Unreal Engine. So, creating the head which looked like Kuzma Scriabin in Unreal Engine, we put on deepfake and we got the result which can be shown in the future computer games. If deepfakes should be put on quickly, the characters would be really futile. Unfortunately, I don't hear the sound. And this is the project devoted to Andrei Kuzma Scriabin. This was the concert at the NSC Olimpijski 2021. The film director Katya Tsarek came to us with an idea to create the show when the group is singing offline at the stage and the image of Kuzma is singing from the screens. We were really lucky because then this was the end of the shooting period of the movie I, Pobeda and Berlin. The actor Ivan Blinder was playing there, and he had the similar haircut to Kuzma. He knew his physiognomics, so he could imitate the singing of his songs, so we pre-recorded him as the carrier, and we trained the neural network on him and could, in fact, create this show.
Ale tvůj brat, ty ne sestra moja, nikoli nerozkazuj meni.
Let us do that again, but without the sound, and I will tell you about that. So this is the data set trained just for his videos, video clips, musical clips. Of course, the quality is a bit worse here, which we were not satisfied with, so we added to the data set all of his interviews from YouTube. So you can instantly see the increase of quality here. I will not show it here. This was a huge concert. We got the permit from his mother about ethics, and her response was really cool. We were communicating with her from the ethical perspective. Everything was done properly. Then a bit about the use of the gaming engines. This is the project Risen from the Ashes, which is devoted to the reconstruction of the destroyed cities during our war and the World War II. We provide parallels discussing and researching how Leipzig, Dresden, Coventry, Paris and Kiev were destroyed during the war. This is the documentary, which will have at least 8 episodes, and we are making it together with the French production. And this is one of the tests, early tests, which will be included into the series. In spring 2022 we got the permit from the security service, and we came to Irpin after the permit of the army as well, and to the airport of Hostomel, where the Mria aircraft was destroyed. We used the drone, and which was flying for 4 hours, which was flying in the network trajectory to create the photogrammetry. So we got a 3D model as an effect, which we cleaned and put to the Unreal Engine, the gaming engine. This is already the processed 3D model in Blender. Some of the details. This is the residential block Irpin-Lipki and the private sector in front of it. And this is how the virtual studio looked like. Maybe you know the technology of the virtual production, which, as far as I know, is the only studio. Maybe there are 2 of them. This is the big one, and there is the small one, an experimental one. But the full-scale one is one only. So it looks like a cube made of LED screens, and on its walls we have the images from the gaming engine Unreal Engine. What's the sense? This stage is real-time, so we can rotate it as much as we can add real-time effects, fire, we can change lighting, the perspective, and the most important, in my opinion, is that the stage itself is, in fact, showing or lighting the character. So we don't need that much of light to emphasize the nature of the environment for the actor. This is how it looks like. That's what I'm speaking about, real-time effects. Well, in fact, this is the stage from the computer game where we added the scanned element from the drone. This is the culture house of Irpin. Why is that used, in fact? Our idea was that the hostess of this project gets to all of the ruined locations of the World War II, of our war. Some of the locations will be scanned, some of the locations will be modeled manually, some of them will be purchased, and it can cooperate with holograms. He can, or she, the hostess, can explain something for the viewer, so this is the effect of presence. And now we have the technology which recently was in fact launched. This is NERF, neural scanning. Well, maybe not that recently, but in summer or in spring this year, the first projects were accessible already. Now we have the technology even of newer unit, and we could take the 3D model, which so far is imperfect, but out of the shootings of Mariupol, which was done by their drone, the Russian drone, but when the neural network is processing this footage, it gives us a 3D model which is complemented by the perspectives which the drone doesn't see. This is very interesting. So this is the combination of animation and gaming engines and cinema. This is the Almanac, or a series, Those Who Stayed. The shooting started in spring. It seems it will be on Netflix, but I'm not sure. It is at the post-production stage. It's almost finalized. Our task was, one of the episodes is about the mother with a child. This is a boy who, under the stress of the first day of the war, is delving deeper into the computer world in his tablet with a computer game. So the task was dual. We needed to create the game on his tablet, and those episodes should go full screen. We should show the animated scenes from the game for the viewer, what the boy imagines. This evil bird is the missile, metaphorically, which was flying into his family that day. And it seems to me that it wouldn't be logical to just create the tablet and then to provide the rotoscope or to introduce the real group. So we decided to take risks. We had only a month, so we decided to create a real game, to upload it to the tablet, then to shoot it, and then to animate in After Effects what's needed to be done, and to make the full-screen animation shots. What did we do? I will not hide. We've bought for $75 the template in Unit Story. This is the template, and I offered the platformers for the producers because it will be easier to do from the graphics point of view. We bought it for $75, the template, so we looked at its components. So we were working with Unreal Engine and Unity. Those are two gaming engines which are the most powerful, the main ones, so we know how to use both. Maybe we are not great masters, but still we know how to use them. And what we did not understand, we asked ChatGPT. Of course, as the text neural network, it knows all the manuals of all of the software products. So any of the issues which we faced were solved with the ChatGPT. So we get inside the Unity of this template, and we looked that for each character we had 18 or 20 frames of plain animation. In our staff we have a very talented girl, a lady designer, who has generated some of the characters in pixels in Midjourney, and then manually she drew some of the stages. They had a dog in the family, a mother, one more woman, the boy himself, and we created the animation cycles like this. This is just the screenshot from Midjourney, kind of an asset which we generated instantly with a black background with retouching, and they instantly went to inside Unity. This is the generation of Kyiv city, and I'm showing that for you to understand that it's not perfect, of course. If we look closer, it's cool. It looks cool from the distance, but still it's trash. We need retouching, we need to clean that, but it's still possible. And this is how the screen recording looks of the game itself. In fact, this is the skin which was taken to the purchased template onto it. The only thing which was left to be connected to it is the life points meter, and we needed the animation of the shot of the bird. This was the only complication. How it will look like in the context of the film, we'll see it. There is sound there.
Можешь, да? Спіймала. Ура, ура, ура. Блін, зараз точно получится.
Ось, ну,
And in fact, if we shot the tablet with the green background or just plain or empty tablet, it wouldn't look real. It would be difficult to create animation for the fingertips. So we spent for all of the process for about 4 weeks. And if we did not have neural network, it would be harder. If we did not buy this template, it would be hard as well. So those tricks, I encourage you to take them too, to cut the corners. There is nothing wrong about that. This is the project which I'm working on in the School of Documentary as the film director. This is the film, and many people recognize him. This is Vyacheslav Yashchenko, the armed forces soldier who lost the eyesight. He lost it dramatically. There was an explosion of 18 mines instantly. He just did not lose his eyesight. Even eyeballs were totally lost, and this is the diagnosis. So this is his diagnosis, which is so long. He was severely injured. So he founded the foundation to see the victory, and he dreams of the eyesight, of his vision. He doesn't have eyes at all, so the only way is to come from the side of the brain. The implant, which goes to the cortical part of the brain, this is the experimental surgery. They're not that numerous, only once or twice per year, and they're not that confident about it. The technology is based upon a little camera which is put on the head, which using the wire connection or Bluetooth gives the signal onto the chip, and it irritates different parts of the brain, so the human can see not like us. He will never see like we do, but he sees that in the formal points. This is how his wife looks like, and we imitated that for the documentary, how he can see. So far it's a bit hyperbolized image, how he could see. So far it's monochrome, a kind of yellowish color, and it's a bit different with other, in fact, indicators like resolution, but in a couple of years it will be closer. So this is just a speculation how the people can see with the implant. We were thinking on visualization, and just accidentally in Twitter I saw a post of some Japanese coder who wrote the plugin for Unity, for the gaming engine, and using the iPhone camera starting with 12 Pro, he has laser measure of the depth of the scene. This information can be taken, processed, and in the gaming engine of Unity we already decoded and launched this plugin. This is how it looks like. This is Vlad himself. We shot it with him. And these fragments will lead the film as if we are seeing that in his eyes. He will travel through the laboratories. This is his wife, Lera. He will go through the labs, top labs of Europe, speaking with the innovators, and it will be his POV. We'll use the usual camera, and this is their artistic approach when he is looking at those scenes and dreaming of his eyesight. This is a little blog how we use AI in design of posters and promotion materials of the cinema, of the films produced by our studio. They are all produced by the AI. The first was attempt for Maxim Osa last summer, when Midjourney was not that well done as now. The issue was why we decided to generate the details of the posters with neural networks, not because it's a fashionable thing, but because the producers came and said that they did not do anything. They did not have the photo set, they did not have 3D models, nothing. They just only had the pictures and only from the bad quality copy of the film, of the protagonist. So looking through this bad copy, I generated some of the images. We had the witch in the forest, the road with coins, so we had the poster. This film is now in Netflix, and this was one of the first attempts of the successful generation of posters using AI. Then we went on, and we have Bucha, the film which was not done by us, but we had a commission of the visuals, then the documentary about Stanislav Lem, the documentary about Louis Braille, which I already told you before, and all of those parts for these posters are generated by AI. And by the way, for the film Promise of Vision, here as well, this is also the part. We had the photo set of Vlad, which was shot with a very talented photographer, Sergei Mishkov, and the part of the images are generated as well. This is the dotty version of Vlad. The Witch of Konotop, this poster did not work, still we have a different one, but this is generation as well. The prompt was with the help of which we generated this girl. You can try it as well. And this is the prompt for an Estonian project, Let It Snow, about the drug traffic in Helsinki. So this link in the beginning means that this is the init image, so-called init image, which is done to get some similarity with the character, with the protagonist. We needed the face which would look like the original actor, so we have such a life hack. We can provide the init image and we can get the generation of the person who would really look like he does. I will show you some examples at the TV channels with the help of this technology. This is the example. This is the Prokino channel. Our studio has now 5 or 7 different cable satellite channels, a historical one, a cinema one. This is the new channel devoted to just to Ukrainian films since 2000. And here it is. And we had an idea to develop the images of our Ukrainian actors, but in the context of world culture. For instance, Daria Petrozhitska, the actress, she looks like Xena, the warrior. The same situation, well, maybe we took this photo from Google as an init image for the generation in Midjourney. We were struggling a lot, and approximately 100 of generations were done for a very picky producer who finally agreed to take the outcome. And then in the template of the author, with the classical ways, we added motion design. This is how it looked like. This is the shot ID. Then the ID with Stanislav Baklan, the actor. He is in the image of Dracula. Irma Witovska in the image of an astronaut in Mars. Nazar Zadniprovsky as Hulk. Our lawyers were really worried about Hulk, whether we have any issues with that, but somehow he's just a green man who looks like Hulk a bit. It's obvious who we wanted him to be similar with, what this hint is about. This project is about 2.5 minutes. Maybe let's not waste it that much. We don't have that much time left. Let me show you still the test of the foot shooting, which we try to transform into the digital project for YouTube about Ukrainian cuisine. This is the recipe of borscht, but potentially it's about all the dishes of Ukrainian cuisine. Let us start watching and I will tell you. The generation was done as well. This is not the image that's stable in diffusion, and lots of manual work as well. And in some of the vegetables, the reeling in After Effects was done already, and the modeling was done manually. But still, it seems to me that this video was done not to deceive you, during about a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, and this food shooting would be really expensive. I don't even know how much, maybe $10,000 or $15,000, which wouldn't be that easy to raise and to shoot it properly. We really worked with different prompts, because to select the proper words to have the same saucepan and the piece of meat, which would be similar with the previous one, or for you not to notice it, this was the whole art. The designer worked on lots of details. The only way to monetize this project is sponsorship. Now we have the sponsorship department in our company. We gave it for analysis. Some of the sponsors are interested, so we hope it will be done. I think that it can be done endlessly. According to the commission of a different commercial production, we'll try the backshot with tiramisu, which will be animated, and it seems it works cool as well. Let us rewind a bit, because maybe you'll have some questions. So let's have 5 to 10 minutes for questions, then we have something to see more. AI in promo production, which we created for our future projects and for those which we're doing now. Maybe it's not perfect, but it's an interesting experiment. This is our documentary about Stanislav Lem. Not many people know that he was born in Lviv, and he lived there until he was 19 years old. Then he fled from the war. So he can be considered, well, maybe not Ukrainian, but with Ukrainian origin at least. So we have the dream to create a Ukrainian-Polish project about Stanislav Lem, a documentary, and we created such a teaser for it. The text for it was written by ChatGPT. The voiceover was also done by some voice service. The generation was done by Midjourney. The voiceover was as well AI human guided. So it was the matter of principle for AI to combine the elements, or at least they were generated by different neural networks as much as possible. We did the editing, of course. This is the outcome.
Artificial intelligence, virtual reality, nanotechnology, genetic engineering, virtual assistants, and many more. All of these things, which today are part of our daily lives, were predicted by Stanislav Lem, who was born in Lviv at the beginning of the 20th century, a deep intellectual, thinker, and philosopher. An author who was annoyed to be called a science fiction writer, however, is widely known as one of the greatest of all time. The imaginary worlds of Stanislav Lem is our attempt to show the worlds of his imagination and fantasies. It is our desire to tell his personal story full of struggles and resistance, and it's our tribute to this unique human being. Lem believed that AI could be a powerful tool for human progress, but also warned of the dangers of relying too heavily on technology. He was skeptical of the idea that AI could replace human creativity and intuition, but at the same time, recognized that AI could surpass human abilities in certain areas. Above all, he believed that humans and AI should work together as equals and make this world a better place. So do we. By the way, all the illustrations and images that you see in this teaser were made with the help of AI, as well as the script, and also the music and voice that you are hearing now are artificial sounds. The imaginary worlds of Stanislav Lem is an exceptional journey into his life, his mind, and Lem's vision for our future. And we are looking for partners to make this project alive.
We did it in spring, it seems to me, so I'm sure it would be much better now, because it has been developed a lot, including the voiceover. This is the Detective von Fock, the project for our Estonian partners. The detective of the 19th century, the aristocrats. like Downton Abbey, the atmosphere with intrigues and murders and so on. So we offered for them the style of classical statues, like aristocracy who's totally stuck, and under their armor they're hiding something. And we, in fact, they are solidified. We generated lots of images. I can't even imagine how much it would cost if we commissioned 3D design of such elements. And as for the next slide, this is the prompt for this girl. I know that this was done by in the style of Léo Caillard, the sculptor of French classic period. Even without it, the generation would be cool, but this is the prompt of this story. And we have the video, which they used for the pitch in Brno, at the festival of TV series. Here we have the same story. The generation of images was done by Midjourney, and then the author classical motion design. So I was doing that on my own, it seems to me, during 5 days. So again, this is for the beginning of the conversation. Will it take our jobs? So far it won't, but it will decrease our time spent, and maybe some of the professions are not needed anymore for such projects. This is the horror trailer for nothing. Maybe you've already faced some Pico Labs service. This one was done at Eugene 2. The first generation was really cool and artistic as well. Generation 2 is much more perfect. It gives you an opportunity to generate 4 to 5 seconds. Now it seems to me it's already 18 seconds. So the objective was to create a kind of a horror trailer. As an input, we give the text prompt, and some random 4 seconds are in the outcome. I introduced such an experimental task, and this is the result. In fact, it was not bad. I took all the stereotypes, the clowns, the girls, the puppets.
No.
So obviously the editing and the sound were done by me. Still, the test showed that it's possible, so I think that in a year the generation will be much more perfect and much more logical. We are almost over. Anastasia gives me signs. So in the future we will see how the neural network adds generation for the VR just in the process, on the fly. When the neural processes will be much more perfect, we'll be able to replace even the real world in your glasses with an imaginary one, and at least the AR will be specified in the style which you are giving as a prompt. We didn't even get the test. We introduced the cubes in the Unreal Engine, and with prompts we said that it should be a kind of a sci-fi city, and it even transformed the cubes into the sci-fi city in cyberpunk style. It was really cool. There's one more example. So I emphasize that the person is watching in neural glasses, and the neural network is adding the style which we would request, fantasy or sci-fi. The generation is done in real life, in life as we can see it in VR. The last couple of slides, and then my contacts, and maybe a couple of questions if we have time for that, maybe not. Archive.org, if you'd like to get into delve deeper into the archive.org. This is the main scientific website where you can find different cringe. For instance, you can search for different works when the neural network is trying to recreate the image which it sees in the pupil of an eye of a person. So this is just a gift for future intelligence officers. And also, this is the research when, with the help of the MRI, the person is compiling the data set in the MRI test, and then thinks whether the neural network can generate, according to the outbursts of brain activities, what the person is thinking about. In the red squares, we have the originals, like the teddy bear, and down there, when the person is thinking, this is what the neural network recreated with the help of the analysis of MRI signals. This is our future, as it seems to me, connection to the brain. We wouldn't like to see everything in a negative way, so those are cool tools. We need to study them. We shouldn't be intimidated by them. They will just help us. These are my contacts. I'm not writing anything to Instagram. Please add. As for Telegram, please write to me. The presentation is open source. I did it in Google Slides. I can send you the link. It is still for our promo, so I'll be happy to share all of our cases. Thank you. If you've got any questions, let me know. Yes, if you've got any questions, we have a time for a couple of questions, and then we'll let Eugene go, and then we move to the next lecture. I have a short question about the previous slide. I'm here. In the red squares, were those the images which the person saw? Yes, saw. And down here, the ones which are generated by the neural network. So they showed the picture, the person was looking, and the neural network generated something. Yes, the latest research the day before yesterday was read by me. They put the person in the MRI for 16 hours, and the person read the books. So it was not about images, it was about the books. When the person was imagining something, reading the book, the neural network can generate the images of the text which the person is thinking about, generating the image. Yes, it was a bit vague, but still, if you've seen the generation of Midjourney 2 years ago, that was just trash. That nothing was possible then. But as the capacity of the chips is growing, it would be science fiction which is close to us already. Thank you. Could you please tell how long did it take when you showed the 3D model for VR? How long did it take? Do you mean Destroyed Cities? Yes, Destroyed Cities as well, but the latest animated one. Well, the thing is that there it is primitive input. You're just throwing in some primitives like 3D cubes or some details, and then you say it should be a fantasy city, and the neural network adds details on its own. I cannot say how long it takes because it was done real time. What about the 3D which you can rotate and the person goes around it? It's a bit harder, but the complication is because we need to clean the model. When we flew with drones for 4 hours, and then we cleaned the model for about 2 days, and that's it. Then we just put it to Unreal Engine, which takes a day as well. So just imagine a cube, and the person is going along the cube, the wall, the ceiling, the floor are lit, and seems like the person is within this destroyed city. But what about the picture? You said that the pixels should be seen. Well, you're doing that in Photoshop. Whatever seems noisy for you, you just get rid of that. How long? Well, about half an hour. I don't know what you should do there. Thank you.